I haven't been able to find a camping table that I like that we can take away on the bikes. I want something with a solid top. I don't like those material type ones. But it still needs to be light and packed down small. So I thought I'd try making one. How hard can it be? The plan is for it to fit into one of my panniers. So I'm going to measure the inner bag to see how big the tabletop can be. Then a visit to Bunnings bought a bit of aluminium rod and a few nuts and bolts, and I had a bit of aluminium plate left over. It's 6.3 rod, and the plate's, I don't know, a couple of mil thick. And then some technical design work to work out how long the diagonals need to be, as I want something that's about 350 mil tall. So with that bit of technology sorted out, it's time to follow my nose and see whether I can actually build this thing. So I cut the diagonals to length. Not difficult so far. But then I needed to weld on some brackets that I could use to bolt the two angles together. So I started with a bit of a rough guess and then took it from there. By the way, just a disclaimer, I'm not a professional anything, including welder. So this is theoretically how each leg will fit together. So now it's time to stick it all together. And I've also stuck on some brackets on the top of the legs for the tabletop to bolt onto. Okay, time to just cut out that tabletop. I've just got a bit of 3mm ply, leftover scrap that was sitting in the shed, which will do the job. This stuff's nice and light and at this size quite rigid. So far so good. Now I need to bolt on each pair of legs. I'm going to make a cross brace that bolts between the two legs to make it nice and rigid when it's sitting. And now after a bit more welding action, it's time to put it together. I've decided to angle the pairs of legs out slightly. This gives it a bit more stability when it's sitting down on the ground. Now for the weight test. Can it hold any weight or will it just crumple up? Couple of grinders. They're fairly heavy, much more heavy than anything I'll put on while camping. And have I got all my measurements right? Ooh, that one's perfect. What about the other way? That one's perfect enough. Looks alright, I'm happy with that. Not the prettiest thing in the world, but functional. You can see that when it's all pulled apart, it really comes down to not that big a package at all. The nuts and bolts have their own little bag, and then everything goes in another bag. But wait, my riding buddy and wife has made me a proper little bag out of some ripstop nylon. Perfect! This weighs hardly anything at all, given that it's all made out of aluminium, and this is the way I store it. The tabletop goes in my pannier inner bag, slides down sideways and sits at the back. And then all the aluminium bits and the bolts bag again go in the pannier outside of the inner bag and on a diagonal. Fits perfectly and hardly takes up any space. It gives me a real sense of achievement to make something myself rather than go out and buy it. And at a total of $15 for the materials, a bargain.